The Opposite of Spoiled is a book that's written by Ron Lieber. He is a New York Times financial columnist. And I want to tell you all something. When I finished this book, I realized I should have had this 13 years ago. My daughter is now 18, and this is what I needed to read when I was at that age as a parent. You'll look on your presentation outline, you'll see the table of contents, and it's pretty provocative. Each chapter talks about, a different, obviously, subject matter, and then I put the subtitle of each chapter, and you can see that these are very difficult and provocative questions. Many of these, as you scroll through that, you may have no idea what to say, and that's why this book is helpful. So if you look at page 3 of your presentation outline, the question is then, what is spoiled? And children, he defines as spoiled, have 4 things in common, maybe not all at once, but you see those on your outline. And what's interesting about those 4 is, and this is the quote, he says it doesn't have to cost all that much to spoil a child. And 3 of the 4 factors in my definition of spoiled don't cost a thing. Now, here's a quote. The biggest fear is talking about money with children will produce money-grubbing kids. Not only is this fear of money-grubbing kids wrong-headed, but older kids see right through the silence that results and find it completely demeaning. Middle and high school students want to make money a focus, not a fetish. But one of the quickest ways to get them obsessing over it is to treat it like a family secret. So in chapter 2, he talks about money conversations, and he says the greatest reply you can ask to kids' money questions, like how much money do we have, are we rich, are we poor, is you go back and you say, why do you ask? And that question likely comes from information the child got on the playground, lunchroom talk, or some fear that they might have. Now here's what he says about that answer. Why do you ask? This response is useful for many reasons. The first is a practical one. By training myself to respond that way, I've guaranteed one thing for certain. I will have 10 seconds to think through potential responses. So I always try to say, why do you ask, in the most encouraging tone possible. If your tone sounds suspicious, like an accusation or an expression of disapproval, it will shut down the whole conversation. Then, asking why do you ask helps with non-money questions too. This is a story about a 6-year-old who walked into the room where his parents were, fixed them with a gaze, and asked, when are we going to start having some sex around here? And the boy didn't want sex, not with his mother or anybody else. He didn't even know what it was, but he'd been watching Family Guy. And so he got this term and walked into the living room and asked the question. So that's pretty good. Why do you ask? And then we can go from there. I'm out of time, but I've reproduced 2 major quotes for you that I think are emotional, and I think they really talk about the essence of why it's important for kids to learn about how to spend and use their money. And, it's really good. One of these lines says, and there's no shame in having more or having less, as long as you're grateful for what you have. Share it generously with others. Spend it wisely on the things that make you happiest. It's true for our kids, but it's true for us too. Wonderful book. Put it on the Christmas list. Get it to your children, for their grandchildren. As I said, if you blew it, there's still a lot of opportunity. Good. Hope y'all enjoyed that synopsis of The Opposite of Spoiled.